Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Life Uncorked and this week's segment of Your Story, Aging Like a Fine Wine. I'm really excited this week to have a very dear friend, Catherine Grace O'Connell. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with you. It's wonderful to be on Uncorked and to talk about anything related to, positive aging is right up my alley.
You've created such a beautiful sisterhood and community,
Mhm.
both all across all social platforms. And I think that you sort of set the tone for positive engagement with everybody and connection and community, which we need so much now. So to that end, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, beauty, to that. Yeah, I mean, that's what we need, right? And that's what uplifts us. And I have to say, when I started, it was summer of 2015 when I started on social media, there was nothing. Like there was no community. There was nobody really lighting the way for others. It was hard to join at that age without other people saying, "Hey, let me, share these things with you. Let me, connect you with other people." So I decided if somebody else wasn't going to do it, I would do it. And I didn't have a tribe, so I thought, hey, why not create one?
And you nurture it, both just your spirit, who you are, but encouraging everyone to connect within your community, which I think is explains its longevity and its strength and its growth. But you just said that started in 2015, roughly. And as I recall, it's been about not quite a decade. You went through a life-altering experience, and that's a huge part of your story. And I suspect what brought you here. Will you share that with us?
Sure. So it wasn't that long before. It was 11/11/14 when I had a near-death experience. And from late-stage Lyme disease, I had been diagnosed the spring before that. So it happened really fast. And I was finally diagnosed by spring and March of 2014. Positive Lyme test, started going under treatment, which meant massive doses of antibiotics. By summer, my organs started shutting down. September in Cedars-Sinai, last rites, and near death experience. So it happened really, really fast. And the truth is, I thought I was ready to go. I have no problem up there. I'm like, okay, it's pretty cool up there. You guys there's the angels and all that. I can hang up there. Down here, you humans are pretty nasty. I mean, I had suffered greatly. And the only thing keeping me here were my kids. And other than that, I really couldn't think of any reason to be here. So I was pretty shocked to have survived it because I really thought, okay, it's my time to go. But again, it was, at least from a conscious standpoint, it was my kids keeping me here. And once I made that decision, I also sat there thinking, okay, there's obviously a bigger purpose for me to be here. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to start living my life differently, and I'm going to start following the breadcrumbs the universe lays in front of me and start trusting that there's a bigger purpose for me to be here than just, little old me to be, pummeled around through trauma and abuse. And I thought, well, let's see what this brings. It's actually one of the things I get more questions on than anything. I actually had a post go viral recently about my near-death experience in 11/11/14. A lot of people, either with chronic illness or depression, they shared all kinds of things and asking, how do you do this, right? I mean, no matter what we're going through, if we want to change our reality, it feels like we're stuck, right? It starts in here. It's so important to really look at what we're telling ourselves. I know for me, I was so filled with negativity, not about anybody else. So nobody would know that, but it was all about me.
I
Inside,
find that
yeah.
so hard to believe because as I know you, and clearly it's the work that you've done, you are the most positive, most inspiring, most open person. You really do want everyone to succeed.
I always had this poly-positivity on the outside while I was literally dying on the inside because I'd stuffed it all in and I'd been told so many horrible things about myself for so long. And when you have really leaky boundaries, all that stuff starts seeping
Yeah.
inside, and over time it becomes very confusing. So it took a lot to go in and take responsibility for that, not for what was done to me, but basically for what I took it to mean about me. And that's really where the work is. It's not what happens to us, it's the stories we wrap around what happens to us.
And we end up over time believing it.
Mhm.
And there's so
Absolutely.
much to unravel to get back to a point where you truly believe in yourself. What inspires you to keep going and to keep making this positive impact in your world and certainly in ours?
What keeps me moving forward on this sort of positive trajectory is that I feel so good, and I know I'm 62 years young, and I have many days that I really feel like a 20-year-old. Not every day certainly, but I really have this youthful spirit inside of me that is just like, let's go. What can we do now? How can I make this world, a better place?
You do walk your talk
Thank
every day.
you so much. Thank you so much. And honestly, let's be real, being a human being is really hard. It's really hard. There's a lot of really rough stuff going on right now. The antidote to that is light and love and, touching people's hearts and opening your heart, right? So I know it's really not hard.
Yeah, but it's so there and it's right in front of us, and yet we make it hard by not just doing the steps one step at a time. And maybe it's the fact that you went through what you went through and you weren't hit with it all at once. And to get out of that darkness, you had to just put one foot in front of the other. And it is those little steps that got you moving and keep you going.
The trick is to catch yourself before you get in too deep when it's really hard to get out. But again, it's just important to share our stories so we can be vulnerable. We can give others permission also to say, hey, I'm over here. I'm hurting. I'm in the muck. Help me, right?
Catherine, how do you want to be remembered?
I suppose a legacy of love and light and positivity and authenticity and vulnerability. All of those things, I think they're all connected. Compassion, empathy, those are qualities that I want to embody.
It's a beautiful legacy to consider, and I would say you are well on your way to
Um,
establishing that. What's next for you?
I'm going to work on my book. I just put my ebook out and it's actually really good. So if you sign up for my 30-day challenge, you get my ebook. That is Becoming Ageless in Mind, Body, and Spirit. So it's all obviously the same theme, but I'm going to be working on my book and ideally, fingers crossed that I will be landing a TED Talk. And then I have a couple challenges. I want to do a 10-day silent meditation. I've never done that. I don't know. Vishpashana is a special meditation where you go somewhere, you meditate 10 hours a day, no phones, no speaking, 10 days. They say it's profound, and your whole experience when you go back into the world, when you have disconnected, you're not allowed to bring a phone, like nothing goes with you. I know it's really challenging from what they say, but I also, it's a real deep desire of mine to experience that and to get myself, sort of to the next vibrational level. I have a big challenge that I may be doing. It's more of a physical challenge this year. I'll let you know.
How can we connect with you? Where can we find out about all your challenges and what's next for you?
Sure. And my 30-day challenge is free, completely free. So you can find me on Instagram at Catherine Graceau. If you Google Catherine Graceau, you can find me anywhere. I am on Facebook as well. I also have a Facebook community, which we know you're a part of, which is wonderful. It's Forever Fierce Midlife Matters. And then I've got my blog, Catherine Graceau. I'm on TikTok. I'm pretty much everywhere, but I honestly, on Instagram, I respond to all my messages.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. And something you said earlier really struck me, your ability and willingness to be vulnerable, especially in a media-driven world and social media. There's always that grass is greener and why isn't my life perfect? And people can look at you and think you have this perfect world and look how beautiful you are. And here you are, 62, doing all these things. Life is perfect. No, it's not. And you walk in that, you honor that, and you honor those imperfections so beautifully to bring it down and dial it down for us that, it's okay to work through everything. And actually there's strength and power in that.
That's the beauty, and that's how we grow. And if you look at this is why we're in a TikTok world right now. These youngsters, they don't want a perfectly shiny world. They want people really opening up and, speaking from their hearts and sharing the muck and the mess because we're all
Thank you.
experiencing it. Yeah. So that really is what connects us. And if you look at a vibrational scale, the highest vibration out there is authenticity. So vulnerability and authenticity are hand in hand. So if you really want to vibrate at a high level, bring your guard down and, obviously share when you're ready, but it's really important to share the muck and the mess.
Yeah. I thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be watching you to see what is next and staying up with you. Everybody, thank you. Take care. Stay
Thank
safe
you
out
so much. Thank you for having me.